What's happening, guys? It's me, Sean Shooping. Currently what I'm doing is that I'm running another video in tandem with this one. And in the other video, what I need a middle as a service region controller inside of an LXC container. So I figured I may as well run two different videos because in the LXC configuration, there's some reasonably interesting stuff that I'm doing on the networking. So I figured I might as well make a video out of it and share that with you. The LXC container is going to be MAAS, as mentioned, and MAAS needs to be DHCP master on the network so that when the nodes that I'm trying to provision boot, they actually get an IP address from MAAS and they get the relevant metadata out of the MAAS server. Now, I've already got a network, right? And the last thing that I want to do is reconfigure my home LAN so that I can run MAAS up here. So the desktop's currently connected to the greater network, but it's connected to the greater network via a switch that's just behind the camera. The MikroTik router is also plugged into the same switch that the desktop's plugged into. Now, because we're running Linux and we're running a MikroTik, what we can do is that we can actually bring up a VLAN on that switch and then run two completely separate networks with no impact to each other. Okay, so to get started, the first thing that we do need to do is we need to do an LXD init. So we can start off with that, so we can do LXD init. Would I like clustering? No, I would not like clustering. Do you want to configure a new storage pool? I'm going to say yes. And the name of the storage pool I'm going to call backup. And the reason I'm going to call it backup is because I already have a zpools mirror in this computer. So instead of bringing up an LXD container on a file on my main hard drive, I'll actually use the pool because LXD uses ZFS, right? So we'll keep that as ZFS. Would you like to connect to MAAS? No, I don't want to do that. Would you like to create a local network bridge? Yeah, we'll do that. And it will just be the standard bridge. We can do auto. Would you like stale cached images to be updated automatically? Yes, that is a good idea. So there we can see the LXD config. So auto on the networking, we're going to use LXD bridge and the storage pool. So we got backup / LXD. We've already got that pool. So reasonably straightforward LXD configuration. Next, what we can do is we can just do an LXC launch just to make sure that everything's working as expected. Okay, so the container should be up. So if we do an LXC list, we can see that Mentos is running. Okay, cool. So now it's got an IPv4 address on the bridge. So right now what I can do is that I can communicate from this desktop to that LXC container, but if I had my notebook over here, I wouldn't be able to communicate with that. So that's that. At least we know that LXC is working. Next up, what we want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to create the VLAN on this box. So I'm just going to use the GUI. I'm going to go to the advanced networking, a VLAN. Let's call it VLAN 999 because that's what we're going to be using. The parent interface is the physical network card inside of the box. I'm going to pass 999 as the VLAN ID, and in the IPv4 settings I'm just going to do a link local just so that the interface comes up. So if we go to LXC and we do an LXC network list, we should see that there too. Excellent, so we've got that guy. So if we have a look at the default LXC profile, we can go LXC profile, show default. And in there we can see that it's, when the container comes up, it's going to have an interface called Ethernet 0. It's going to be bridged to LXD bridge, and that's how it gets its IP, right? So what we want to do is we want to copy this profile and then change some of the settings inside of it. LXC profile, copy default to LXC VLAN 999. Okay, so then if we do an LXC profile list. So what we do want to do now is that we want to change the NIC type from bridge to a MAC VLAN. And then what we also want to do is that we want to set the parent to the actual VLAN interface. Okay, so to change that, we're going to run two commands. And the first command is an LXC profile device set LXC VLAN 9999, which is this LXC profile that I showed earlier on. I'm going to set ETH0 NIC type equals MAC VLAN, which is essentially this configuration over here. And then what we need to do is we're going to do something similar, but we're going to do LXC profile device set LXC VLAN 999 ETH0 parent interface is actually VLAN 999. So if we go LXC profile show, oh, stop it, Sean. LXC profile show, copy, paste that. We should see now that the ETH0 of the container is going to be a MAC VLAN, and it's going to use VLAN 999 as its parent interface. Now I want to actually go launch the machine, which is going to be the Metal as a Service controller on my other project. And in order to make sure that it does come up inside of VLAN 999, we're just going to declare an extra flag at the end of our LXC launch command. So we'll simply go LXC launch. We'll keep Ubuntu 18.04, and this one we'll call MAAS-home-lab, and we're going to do profile LXC VLAN 999. Okay, so now if we do an LXC list, we'll see that the MAAS home lab is we'll see that the MAAS home lab is running, and it doesn't have an IPv4 address, and it won't get an IPv4 address because in that VLAN on the MikroTik, I'm not running DHCP because I want MAAS to be DHCP master. So what we'll simply need to do is that we'll need to jump into the container. So we can go LXC exec container name, and we're going to execute a /bin/bash. So now we can see that we're actually inside of the container itself. And if we do a cat etc netplan 50 cloud init, we can see that it's simply trying to get a DHCP address. So what we can now do is we can open up netplan profile. We can set a static IP address over there. I'm going to bring up an IP address on the container being 82.2. The MikroTik on VLAN 999 is sitting at 88.1, and then we'll just use external DNS. So we'll write that, and we'll do copy u netplan apply that, and then now if we do an IPADDR, we can see that we've got an IP address. If we ping google.com, we have internet access. Excellent news. So now if we jump out of there, we go back and we do an LXC list, we can actually see that our LXC container has an IP inside of the VLAN, which is excellent. That's exactly where we need to be. Now the final step, all that we need to do is that we need to actually jump into the container, and we'll do a /bin/bash. And now what we can do is that we can actually go ahead and we can install the Metal as a Service bits. So all that's left really to do is to do a MAAS init. Cool, so now we can just run through the standard config of MAAS. So there's a couple of other tasks that I do need to configure in MAAS after this. But as for Metal as a Service inside of an LXC container on a VLAN interface, that is all done. So now I can actually get back to my original project. If you've liked this video, give it a like. If you like seeing videos like this, consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.